I'm Lorna Kettles and I'm the Policy and Engagement Manager here at Early Years Scotland. Over the last 6 months, as always, there's been quite a lot happening in the world of policy that EYS has been able to be involved in. However, the last 6 months have seen a bit of a change in this strand. So before we were very much policy and advocacy, we're now looking at more of an engagement type role, which is really exciting and is something which has evolved quite organically, especially after COVID. I think our focus as an organisation shifted quite a bit and we realised just how important engagement was, both with our children and families and with membership. So for the last 6 months, that's something that I've been very much working on and that we as a whole team have been working on. So in terms of policy, there's been a few kind of key things that we've done. There was a really big consultation in December last year around the future of Scottish education, and predictably, as usual, there really wasn't much of a mention of early years, as is too often the case. So we pulled together a response as we normally would do, but what we accompanied that with, which was really lovely, was a little YouTube video. So we sent out to our members and asked them to send us drawings and little videos of the children, just about sort of what education meant to them, but in a really sort of 3 to 5, well, under 5s friendly way, in ways that all children, whether verbal or non-verbal, if they have English as a first language or not, could engage. And it was a really, really nice accompaniment. So not just the standard in-depth and robust written response, but something really visual that went with that. And I think that very much reflects what we're about as an organisation, and we'll look forward to doing more of that kind of thing in the future, because it was really well received. Another big piece of work which I'm really, really excited about is the work we're doing on the climate emergency. So it's become quite clear that as an organisation we need to not only be doing more internally, but be doing more to support our members and our children and families in order to be able to act on the climate emergency. And what we find is that small things are the things that make the big difference. It's a difficult time for families at the moment. There's an awful lot more for people to be worrying about than the climate emergency, but we're trying to pull in resources and help and support to show how they can make that little bit of difference without adding any pressure onto anyone. And in terms of members, we're going to be launching in June our pledge to the planet, which is really exciting. We're really, it's a new thing for us. So basically we are encouraging settings to sign up to become planet protectors. They'll get a certificate once they sign up, and the calls to action within it are really quite straightforward things, like recycle, get children outdoors, grow your own food and plants if you can, teach them about the climate emergency, talk to them about it. That old cliche again, that our children are the future, but they are, and they're the ones that are going to make a big difference. So we want to embed that as something that's important at the earliest years. So we're looking forward to launching that, and we also want it to be really interactive and quite fun. We know there's lots of examples of really good practice out in the sector, and we want people to be able to share that, to show us what they are doing, to get ideas from what others are doing, to just really sort of not only tackle the climate emergency, but enhance children's fun and play and learning around it. We're providing support around things like income maximisation, support with letters, with CVs, soft skills to get back into education and employment. I've said it's a really difficult time for families, and it is, and there's a lot of families who are in situations they've never been in before. So our practitioners build up such positive trust and relationships with families that they feel they can talk to us, and we'll never turn anyone away for help. We'll do everything we can. We might not be able to help them directly, but if we can't, then we'll point them in the direction that they need to be in. So that's lovely. And also looking to widen that scope out to members as well. So there's going to be a lot more engagement with members. Not burdensome engagement, because we know the pressures that are on the sector at the moment, but certainly engagement, just making sure that the key points and the key messages are getting fed back to policy and decision makers, which is obviously really important. There's also been quite a lot of work done over the last 6 months around engagement with other third sector organisations. At Early Years Scotland, we're very good at doing, and we just do, and we carry on doing. And sometimes it's good to take a step back and realise that there's other people who might want to help us do what we're doing. So we've been attending lots of meetings and creating some really positive new working relationships and partnerships with other third sector organisations, so that there's a bit more of a united force. And we also find that a lot of things talk about children and young people, but our youngest children can be left out of that far too often. So that's something that we're really committed to, and have been developing, like I say, and laying the groundwork for over the last 6 months, as something that will very much continue on into the future.